Hey guys, before the video starts, I just wanted to say that if you do not see numbers and signs, that it does not necessarily mean that you have not met your twin flame or that you're not ascending. A lot of people do see numbers and signs though, and a lot of people don't. Some people have telepathic experiences, some don't. Why? I don't know. Everybody's journey is different, but it does not mean that you haven't met your twin, and it does not mean that you're not ascending. If you want to know if you've met your twin, go watch my video called The 5 True Twin Flame Signs. How do I know I met my twin flame? And as far as how do I know if I'm ascending, if you have to ask, you might not be. If you're ascending, you're going to know it. You're going to know it because what you're doing is increasing your level of consciousness. It's not thought, and it's not anything to do with your mind at all. It's consciousness. It's self-awareness. It's something else. And if you are ascending, you're going to know. You're going to know that you are. So there you go, guys. Enjoy the video. Hey guys, Kurt here, and today I want to talk about all the crazy freaking numbers and signs that you get after your twin flame takes off and you go into the dark night of the soul, right? So I sort of kind of did a video about this before, and I'll touch on what I talked about in that video, but I just wanted to address some other things about that topic that I think you'll find interesting and even useful. So there's kind of two things going on. There's going to be the numbers and maybe other signs that don't have anything to do with your other self, so-called twin flame. I call it your other self because that's what they are. They are you in another body. So there's that kind of stuff. There's numbers and there's signs not having to do with them. And then there's signs that seem to only have to do with them. Okay? So let's talk about that first. You see their name everywhere. You see a car just like theirs. Just a song that reminds you of them. Just stuff that reminds you of them. And for those of you who are further along your journey, you may have noticed that when the obsessive thinking started to kind of trail off and then maybe it goes down to almost nothing, the seeing their name and things that remind you of them, that kind of stopped, didn't it? For those of you that are still seeing it, I'm going to tell you why this happens. You've all heard of the law of attraction, right? Your thoughts are spewing out 1 billion million miles an hour, and people who've never experienced the obsessive thinking, if you try to explain it to them, they're not going to get it. You're not going to get the obsessive thinking if you've never experienced it. You can't explain it in words. You can't turn it off. People go, well, you got to stop thinking about that person. You got to move on. And you're like, well, yeah, thanks a lot, you fucking genius. I would if I could do that, dumbass. I can't. You can't turn it off. The obsessive thinking, it's weird. It's like a disease. You can't shut it off. Okay? Now, I know a way that you can turn it off, and I've already made a video about that. Just go look for it on my channel. I might make another one. But it's a process, and unless you go through that, there's no off switch. Anyway, the obsessive thinking is going off. Your thoughts are going out there. Your energy is going out into the universe, right? What does the universe do? The law of attraction, right? It brings you things that match your energy. Well, you're all having thoughts about them all the time, obsessively, so you're seeing their name, and you're seeing things that remind you of them all the time. And then those of you, like I said, who are further along your journey, and the obsessive thinking has gone down or doesn't even happen anymore, you don't see their name and things that remind you of them all the time anymore. That's not an accident. Okay? So you're being given proof that the law of attraction is real right there. Right there. Now, the numbers and other signs that remind you, or not remind you of them, but numbers and other signs because you may be getting other signs. There's those of you that are just getting signs that maybe make you think of like general spirituality or something like that, right? And the numbers, like a ton of numbers. That's not really twin flame, okay? And you're not seeing those things because it's having anything to do with that person. If you're seeing stuff that remind you of that person, that's to do with the obsessive thoughts you're having about the person. All the other stuff is your ascension. Those are ascension signs, okay? And I've experienced this twice. Here's what happened. So I went through the dark night of the soul, and when you're in the dark night of the soul with the feeling of meaninglessness and the obsessive thinking and the pining for the person and the trying desperately to figure out what to do and the crying and bawling and acting desperately and just fucking losing your mind, right? The dark night of the soul. What's happening is your ego is melting away. It's being broken up and cleared away so that you can, the light of your soul can shine through brighter, right? But the thing is, when the ego goes through this kind of ego death, well, the ego is dying and it doesn't like to die. It hurts, right? So it's very triggering. Your ego is fucked up and freaked out and you're experiencing all these nasty emotions and just crazy behavior and all that, right? Well, it's really the first step of your spiritual awakening. So the light of your soul is kind of elbowing its way in to your life situation, right? Let me in there, right? It's like your ego's standing in the way of your soul, and your soul is like, get the fuck out of my way, right? And it's like elbowing its way through all the thoughts and the crap of your ego. The ego is getting elbowed out of the way by your soul, right? And so that energy is flowing out of you quickly and brightly, more than it ever has, and it's increasing, it's going up, it's rising, it's going up. It's an upward motion, okay? So you're going through this ascension where your soul energy is getting more intense. It's shining out more brightly. Meanwhile, your ego is getting the shit kicked out of it by your soul, and your soul or your ego is causing you to experience dark night of the soul. And you're seeing numbers and signs that don't necessarily have to do with your person, your twin flame, all the time. Now, what happened to me is during my journey, at one point, I plateaued. And I got over the obsessive thinking and the addictive behavior, and I was like, I don't care. And I kind of walked away from the whole thing for a while, as much as you can, right? And I stopped seeing the numbers and signs. I plateaued. And then some more things happened. She came back around. It triggered more awakening. And then I also started to kind of figure out how to embrace my ascension intentionally, which is what I try to encourage people to do on this channel. And when I did that, I kept going for maybe 3 months, building up this momentum to try to embrace my ascension and get back on my ascension intentionally. So I undid the plateau. I got off the plateau and I started going up again, and my energy started going up and up and up again, and I knew that I was changing, and more old friends fell away and more changes took place in my life and everything like that. Well, another thing that started happening was more numbers again. More numbers again. The numbers stopped when I plateaued. All that shit stopped. And then when I started going back up again, I started seeing numbers and signs again. And I still see them all the time, guys. So, you want to get yourself to a place where you're not seeing stuff about your twin flame, but you are seeing other numbers and signs. And here's the thing about the numbers and signs. Individually, a number or set of numbers has a meaning, and if you look around on the internet, generally the information that you find about what the numbers mean is going to be pretty accurate. Numerology is a pretty long-standing, pretty well-established study, and there's enough information out there that you can find out accurate information about which number means what. But here's the thing. It gets confusing when you get 1111, 22, 444, 555, 777, 999, 1313, 4141, 88, 88, 1111 again, 1212, 444 again, 555 again, 66, 77, 99, 999, 1111 again, 22, 22, 22, 333, 444, 555, 777, just on and on and on. 144. That's another one that seems to happen to people that are ascending a lot. 144, right? And all these numbers are coming at you, just a barrage of numbers every day, dozens of them. And you're like, whoa, 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 hold on, slow down. Just give me one number at a time, maybe two, and I can figure out what you guys are trying to tell me, right? Like, what are your spirit guides trying to tell you, or maybe the universe is trying to tell you, or whatever it is, right? Right? Well, here's what they're telling you. Keep going. They're telling you that you're ascending when you get the barrage of a whole bunch of different numbers. And you're not sure what they all mean. It just means that you're doing it right. Now, the further along your ascension you go, you may notice that you get more of the same numbers consistently. So the barrage of different numbers starts to quiet down, and then you just start to see one or two different numbers all the time, but a lot, like a couple dozen times a day, or a certain number at a certain time. And that's what's happening to me. I've been seeing pairs of numbers a lot lately, and it doesn't seem to matter what number it is. It's pairs of numbers. So I'll see 1010, 2222, 5151, 1414, 3636, whatever. Right? And I see 22 all the time, everywhere, and 44. 44, 22, and pairs of numbers. 56, 56, 38, 38, just random pairs of numbers, but also 22, 22, and 44, or 44, 44, or 444. And I already know you can leave comments if you want to try to help me figure out what that is, but I think I have a pretty good handle on what they're trying to tell me. But I see them a lot, you guys. A lot. Now, here's why this is happening. The universe is giving me feedback. The law of attraction is like where your energy goes out there, and the universe, it's like an echo in a canyon. If you go to a canyon and you go, echo, and you wait a second, 2 or 3 seconds later you hear echo back, right? That's why they call it an echo. The universe is just echoing your energy back to you. It's just a reflection of your energy. And the universe, it doesn't speak English or Chinese or Spanish or French or any of those languages, right? It doesn't speak any particular language except for numbers. The universe does speak in mathematics, okay? And so it's giving you all these numbers as feedback. It's just reflecting your energy back to you. And when you're ascending, you're going to see those numbers. So if you stopped seeing numbers, embrace your ascension again. I want you to see numbers. You should see numbers. That's a good sign. It's an indicator. Imagine you're flying on a rocket going up into space. You just launched off the launch pad, and the first stage comes off the rocket, and the second stage ignites. A little light on the dashboard turns on to indicate to you that you just had your first stage come off, and now you're on the second stage, right? And then at some point, the second stage separates, and the third stage takes over, and another light in the cockpit turns on. So now you've got 2 lights, right? That's like what's going on. It's just feedback, guys. It's just information. The universe is just telling you, yeah, you're doing good, keep going. And there may be a specific message for you if you get specific numbers over and over and over again. So you might, on your phone, just text yourself throughout the day, or open up your email on your phone and just start a draft email and just type in whenever you saw certain numbers, type in that number every day and send those emails for a week or a month. And then if you really want, and you maybe start to see more consistently what numbers you're getting. If you really want, to go to that length, or just get a piece of paper and write them down or something, right? If you really want, if you got to know what the numbers mean, you could do that. Because maybe there's a specific message for you. But if you're getting like more than 3 types of numbers all the time, don't worry about it. All it is, what I'm trying to tell you is, all it is the universe is giving you that little indicator light in the cockpit. It's echoing back to you your energy. It's telling you that you're ascending. And if you stopped getting the numbers, you need to get the numbers to come back. Okay? It's a good thing. It's a good thing. I also sometimes I'll get like one-off numbers. And I'll tell you a story about something that happened. 88, right? Everybody knows that 8 or 88 is like a big indicator about money, like abundance, right? And another sign, and this is a sign, but the universe knows that whenever I see a pregnant woman, I think that means that I'm about to come into some money. And when I was first starting my coaching with my students, money was really tough, and I was thinking about quitting my job, and I was really nervous about doing that. And I was like, I don't know, man, maybe I should keep my job. I can't just quit my job, and I barely make enough money to survive doing this. And I kept seeing pregnant women, and not like one here, one there. It was like every day for a week, I would see 10 a day, different women. Not the same one. I mean, like you see pregnant women around, that would be one thing. Even if I saw 2, even 3 in a day, 10 a day for a week or 2, right around the time that I'm thinking about quitting my job. You guys, that's not, I'm sorry, but that's a sign. That's a sign. And the universe knows that, and I think I saw that on a YouTube video, like a law of attraction guy was talking about, yeah, if you see pregnant women. And so I've always thought that. Also 88, I was sitting in a restaurant about, I don't know, a month ago, and I'm sitting there eating this meal, and I'm thinking, Kurt, you shouldn't have went out. Money's tight right now. You haven't had anybody buy coaching from you or buy a reading from you, and you got to pay your rent soon. And I was getting really nervous because money was like, in my account was getting really low. And here I am eating out for dinner, and I should have went, but something told me to go eat out that night. And so I did anyway, but I was getting all nervous about it, like, oh no, like this was a really bad idea. I need to pay my bills, and I haven't made any sales for a while. And right as I had that thought, I heard on the TV, 88, right? Like, I don't know what the guy was talking about. It was some sports channel, at the restaurant that I was at. They had some sports channel on, and I'm not really interested in sports, but I just heard like the talking, like they're, you don't really listen to what they're saying, you don't pick out what they're saying. But the one thing that I did pick out, and then maybe I did this subconsciously, was 88. Like, as soon as I had that thought about maybe I shouldn't be eating out and money's really tight, it was 88. I heard 88. I just, for some reason, picked that right out of the middle of the sentence that the person was saying. 88, they were talking. Right as soon as I had that thought about, I don't know if I should be eating out, and what if I can't pay my bills? I was like panicking a little bit, and I heard 88, and then like I get up to go to the bathroom, and there's a pregnant woman that walks right past me. Okay, and the next day I made 2 sales. How about that? How about that? And you guys, that happens to me all the time, and I hope it happens to you too. Stuff like that. Stuff like that. Because if it is, you're ascending. You want the numbers. It has nothing to do with your twin flame. You just need to embrace your ascension. Like I always tell you guys, you just need to embrace your ascension. So there you go. That's the numbers. Thank you for watching. Have a good week.